In today's video, we're going to be talking about clefs. This is the treble clef, and this is the bass clef. Even though some instruments sound very high and other instruments sound very low, composers can use clefs to make sure you are playing the note at the right spot, so it sounds great no matter what instrument you're playing. Sometimes we call the treble clef the G clef. The reason is this last curved part of the treble clef is curving around the second line, this line right here. This second line is called G. Any note you write on it will be called a sort of G. So that's why since it curves around, we also call it the G clef. The bass clef is sometimes referred to as the F clef, because if you notice these two dots right here are sitting on either side of this line. This line is called F. So that's why we sometimes call the bass clef the F clef. Instruments that use the treble clef are the recorder, the violin, the trumpet, the clarinet, and the flute, just to name a few. Also, right now in elementary school, most of us sing in the treble clef. Our voices are still kind of high. Also, the treble clef plays on the right side of the piano. The bass clef is responsible for some of our lower sounding instruments. For instance, the tuba plays in the bass clef. The bassoon is a woodwind that plays in the bass clef. And a bass clef string would be the big double bass, is what we call it, and it kind of matches with the name bass clef. Also, some men sing in the bass clef. The bass clef is responsible for the sounds on the left side of your piano keyboard. Hear how some piano notes sound as they're played on a piano keyboard. These treble clef notes sound like nice and high, and I have to play it with my right hand. It takes care of these notes here to the right. These bass clef notes sound like this. Nice and low, and I have to play those with my left hand because they take care of some of these keys that go way down to the left. Just for your information, because I hate to leave anything out, there are more than just the treble clef and the bass clef. There are a few more called the alto clef and the tenor clef, and they're made for a very few instruments. So we don't really learn about them unless you pick up those instruments sometime in your lifetime. So I'm going to stick to the treble clef and the bass clef. But I just wanted you to know there are other things out there in case you hear it. There are a few other clefs, but the main ones are the treble, the high, and the bass, the low. Your secret code is Mozart's melody. You know how much we love Wolfie. I'll see you around.